Welcome to another episode, Middle Ground with JLE, L.L.C, where we treat you like family. That's the theme song, Detroit Love, off my first album, The JLE Experience. I'm your host, JLE. I own the copyright to the music. Don't mean nothing, Facebook. Have another amazing guest for you in this season 12. Last guest for the season, the year of 23. But season 12 keep going into 24. A lot of seasons, everybody. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And I'll get this wonderful person accolades. Want to welcome Scrum Master, Founder, CEO, Senior Program Director at the Office of Black Wealth Culture, Stephannie Kirby. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you taking time to share your story. First question.
I even like how I'm the end. I end your years. I like that.
Yeah, you last one for the year. This will be episode 4 for season 12. Ooh, Lord, that's a lot of seasons.
Congrats.
I appreciate it. We'll keep rocking and rolling, keep growing. What led you to this path?
Well, I can give you the short version because I can go on for days. What led me to the Office of Black Wealth Culture is actually being an entrepreneur myself.
Mm-hmm.
I did start, I was born and raised in Springfield, Massachusetts. And during that time, when I was like 14, I started my own business, not knowing what business really was, but I was, with my peers, gathering them together in the music industry. So it was more focused in the music. They were dancers, they were MCs, and I was putting on shows. And so I guess I just always had this entrepreneurial bug. And it just kind of kept going throughout my journey, even though it was in different industries until I came to the point of just really focusing on entrepreneurship, which I'll get into of how I ended up doing that. But I did at first ended up in the music industry, had a great time, learned a lot. I was interning at Def Jam when I was in college. When I graduated 2 weeks shy, I was at Bad Boy Entertainment. So I got to experience a lot of different things in the different aspects of business, from marketing, just seeing how teams work, working with a variety of personalities, starting from the beginning. And I really wanted to keep going. So I kind of left the music industry, went more into nonprofit. And, my workflow was really, I kind of mastered at least how to complete projects. And so when I went into nonprofit, I was able to work at different organizations and helping them build new departments and sometimes just different programs. So I got to also learn that. So you could see that my background has, it's broad in the sense of being in different industries. But it was at an organization where I decided to pursue my own business, meaning I wanted to work just with women at the time. Okay. I was probably I think it was about 31 at that time. And I just wanted to work with women in a sense of, as I got older, it was harder for me to find friends in business. And so that's what my business at first was focused on. But when I went into an accelerator program, during that time, the CEO that was running the accelerator program actually liked my work ethic and hired me to oversee that accelerator program. So I went from the summer being a participant to, in the fall, actually overseeing that program. And I was really watching a lot of young, because I was overseeing a collegiate accelerator. So these are young entrepreneurs. And I definitely was focusing on Black entrepreneurs, obviously, because that's how I identify. And I was seeing the difficulties, not only just pitching our business, but also the difficulties of once we left an accelerator, we would plateau out. And this is a lot of entrepreneurs. It didn't matter what ethnic group you were from, right? And I wanted to know why. And so I started researching. And out of that research came the Office of Black Wealth Culture. We first were just called Black Wealth Culture, and I started running my own accelerator and working with fabulous entrepreneurs. So a lot of things was really, for at least our first 3 years, were really referrals and just working and refining how we bring value to an entrepreneur until up to date, where now we're like, how can we really bring value? And we are figuring out it's that wearing too many hats dilemma, and how entrepreneurs, they come and they're trying to be the marketer, they're trying to be the customer service rep, they're trying to be everything. And so it's harder to build the business when they don't have a great teammate that can help. And so through this refinement, January 15th, we'll be launching our first, it's called Supreme Ops program.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So that's the short version. I try to.
No, this show about you. Take your time.
Well, thank you. So it brings us to the point where now we are focused on creating a program called Supreme Ops, or also known Supreme Operations Program.
Mm-hmm.
And it's refined. So it's valuable for the entrepreneurs. It starts January 15th, and there's different durations that an entrepreneur can choose. So they can work with us for 3 months, 6 months, or 8 months. And it's tailored to meet a variety of their business needs. And so what makes it really unique, so this is the part that we're not a course, we don't have courses, we don't have workshops. What makes us really unique is that it's a one-on-one strategic partnership. And so we come in and we are project managers to the entrepreneur. And we work with them for whatever duration that they choose within that program. And we handle the task for them. And so that's what makes it unique, because we are taking the load of the workload off of them when we're focused on this certain project. And this project is focused on catapulting their business forward. It could be that there's bottlenecks within their business. And so we want to be able to identify those and then improve them so that their business is running as a well-oiled machine. And so that's kind of how we come in to focus on them.
That's pretty awesome.
It's fun. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. And I do love it.
Yeah, when I was going to your page, I'm like, man, this thing does a lot. It definitely has a community to it. Okay.
Yes.
I ain't mad at it. I recently joined.
You did. Well, you're in our waiting room, which is so anyone that haven't been like a participant with us, or we haven't worked with them directly, we do invite them into the waiting room, the one that you're in on LinkedIn. And that allows just you to mingle with others that we've met. So we're always about value, right? So it's not just about just because we meet you and we want you to work with us. We also want to continue to add that value in our community, especially in the Black community when it comes to building business. And that's really been the mission, as you can hear in the name itself. And the name itself is actually an affirmation. That's why we called it Black Wealth Culture. So every single time someone's saying it, you are speaking it, right? But we had to throw the office in front of it so people understood that we are the space where you come to build your business to be to make it grow, right? To business growth. And a lot of things, there was a lot of stigma around customer service when it came to within our community, when it came to Black business.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a whole other conversation.
We don't put we don't do all the necessary steps to give you that Dom Perignon treatment, as I like to call it.
Yes. And so that just, it says it could be addressing your actual systems, right, within the business. Because we can go out and say, our product, our service is great, and we think we're going to serve everyone. And that's not true. We have to, one, target our customer, but we also have to ensure that our customer experience and that satisfaction is there. And that ties in with our internal functions. And so as project managers, we come in and we look at what is it that you're doing? How are you delivering the product? And how do you even onboard that client into your organization? And I will say this, though, not every industry we can work with, right? So we're not sitting here saying that every industry we can help. We do have this basic structure, and we apply project management tools. But the project actually comes about with us having an actual strategic conversation, right? So we're asking them about their business. We're learning about where they're currently at. And we're trying to see what projects can we create that we can attack in 3 months that will move the business forward, or at least address some of those bottlenecks. So, and in that meeting, we can discover like, yeah, we wouldn't be able to help because one, we may not fully understand, right? And you want a teammate that really can fully be there with your vision and also understand your industry. But majority of time, I will say, is that because this allows the entrepreneur to really be a boss now, right? Because now you have a team. So I will say that it gives them this moment to actually deliver, right, the understanding of the organization's services and products to their team. So it also gives them this time to kind of refine themselves as CEOs or bosses to a team itself.
Okay. Now, you said there's some industries you don't work with, any particular reason?
So for instance, I don't do finance, particularly because I'm not touching somebody's money and get it wrong. So we leave that up. We're going to leave that up to the pros. But we do, have access to others who are experts in that field. So let's say we were working on a project and it required that. Then within the project, part of our task would probably be reaching out to those kind of experts. So that's kind of how we still would address it if we're able to do that. But if it's like full blown, a really financial kind of focus, it could be even redesigning QuickBooks and their things. You really want your accountant, we would push them towards that. And then grant writing, we don't do grant writing. So we don't. Some people are like, can you write grants for us? So that's definitely one. But I will tell you, we've had very interesting business contact us. They're in Oregon and they wanted to sell sheep milk. I'll never forget that. Yeah. So they wanted to sell sheep milk. And so, but part of that project is that the entrepreneur never had time because they were a 9-to-5 individual. And so they would go to work, but they never had time to find out about the licensing and then actually schedule those times for the licensing. Mm-hmm. So our project within that time, and now this is before Supreme Ops. So I just want to put that out there because before Supreme Ops, we had a different way of how we approach things with the entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So during this time, this is like a 30-day kind of project, if you look at it that way. And we got to learn about different licensing, and especially since we're contacting Oregon, so it's very different. So that was an experience. But we also felt like that was more admin, and did it catapult that person forward? We can tell, right? Because they can go to the license, they get their license, and then they can still just go back to work and never pursue it further because we stopped there. And so this is why Supreme Ops program was created, because we want to see the project from beginning to end. We want to accomplish those deliverables and then actually hit those milestones. So basically, just to give example, let's say someone doesn't have a client management system, right? They don't have a way where they document their leads coming in, and also just staying in touch with their clients once they've serviced them. How do they follow up? And that's ways for them to upsell. So they don't have this kind of system. We would say, let's focus on creating that system in 3 months. So at the end, we want to see that system up. So we have a completion. And so that's kind of how we work now.
That's awesome. And those are some things that a small business owner, entrepreneur probably don't think about. Because a lot of stuff, even what I've done for my company, you got to go get the paperwork stuff to make it legit. And that's something you really got to do. But after you do that, you need to start advertising. Use Canva or go live on all your platforms. Let people know, hey, just open my business. We're ready to go. This is what we're selling. This is the pricing. Come holler at your boy or your girl or whatever. And some people forget that part. Like, okay, well, you did the paper. Now you got to go tell people. Huh? Ain't no, you gotta go tell them.
Well, then the other part that they miss is that you open up, you start marketing, then you start to get a flood of people, but now you have no systems in place. So now your service looks terrible. And so that's the part that we overlook. We don't have those conversations about operations when it comes to building our business. And now I'm not going to say that accelerators don't talk about it, but in most accelerating programs, they focus on all the different components of your business, but you may not be strong in those components. And so, that's why we come on board to say we're reliable and, great teammates. I mean, like I literally get excited about the projects that we work on. So our clients, they don't just choose us, we choose them as well.
Yeah, I know on my social discussion show, Ground Floor, I always use the term, if you're trying to find a relationship, y'all are merging as a corporation. You got to figure out what y'all day-to-day operations is within it. The co-host look at me sometimes like, you in this terminology, like, but it's real.
Yes.
Those conversations got to be had so you know what's what. So if you got a business, you don't even think about it. You got the inventory of people say, I want to buy what, or how you going to keep track of it. Some tedious things you got to start having in place so you are a legit company. So when they yelp or whatever about you, A1. Not typical, and not saying all black companies are like this.
That is very true. Not
There's
to say
a lot
that.
of great companies that are first class Dom Perignon treatment. But the
Yes.
stigma is if it's a black company, man, that's Ray Ray Julio spot. That thing is garbage, man. You're gonna be there for 5 hours to get a pop. Like, come on, man. You may have one bad experience, just assume everybody is saying that's not true.
I mean, we've been to restaurants where you're like, what, cook, just, who's the cook in the back today.
You can go to different culture stuff and experience the same bad service. But with our culture, for some reason, that one bad experience, all black businesses, don't do it. Don't mess with it. Don't do it. And
that is very true.
Because it's not true.
It does do that. Automatically, actually.
Yeah.
When we have really good businesses, though, I mean, there's a lot of businesses that's been around for many years. So, I mean, that's just the stigma when something happens within our community. It's like all of us.
Mm-hmm. And like, we're not monolithic. We're just because Roscoe's chicken and waffle was bad don't mean Ray Ray's chicken and waffle is bad.
Right.
You got to go find out. Nah, man, they all bad. Trust me. And that's what you out here marketing in your conversation with people. They're like, dang, well, he seemed very animate. Maybe he right. And you putting bad juju out there on people. That ain't even cool.
That is true. I mean, we all have to remember we shouldn't have that stigma because anyone can start a business. Anyone can start one, right? So
it's a matter of keeping it going. And the biggest thing I learned in business school, customer service is the lifeblood of a business.
Yes.
If you start with Dom Perignon, I don't care if you had to go borrow from the bank, you need to keep it Dom Perignon. Don't drop off the Dollar Tree. They're going to talk about you. Like, wait a minute, we've been doing filet mignon. What? We got Spam now? What? I knew y'all was bootleg. Once I get out there, it's going to be hard to drop it away.
Well, you said something when you mentioned bank too is another issue that we always found. So a lot of people will always say, I need money for my business. But if they receive that money, they don't know what to do with it. Yeah, they haven't, prepared themselves on how to utilize it. And so, that also goes down the drain too. So that's another reason why we also approach it in project format as well. So things are easier and we know that we're focused on something and we're going to get there.
And I recommend anybody, if you want to be an entrepreneur, since we have technology, a lot of colleges that have a business school, just type up intro to accounting or whatever. Someone put their class on YouTube and just listen, sit in and listen to get an idea of how the day-to-day operations of a business work. So you got some working knowledge because if you don't do it, you're going to pay someone to do it for you and depend on the right person. Man, that's like $3,000. You want me to do what? You calculate, carry one. Yeah, that's $3,000. And you're like, that's a little steep, but you want me to do all of this grunt work and implement. So yeah, that's the fee. And you
pretty
know,
much,
you just sit there. And I did it when I was struggling with counting other stuff, man. This dude talking janglers. Let me see this cat. Oh, I get it now. Okay. So I'm graduate. I'm figured out. Look at crook. I'm getting up out of this janitorial uniform. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but I want options. And I would do it. And sit there for, let's do 2 hours. Oh, well, we're going to, you sit through a boring 2-hour movie. Let's go. Let's be working on something else, but listen, like, okay. So that's what that meant finance. Got it. And just it's out there.
Yeah. Well, as entrepreneurs, we should always, I mean, anyone in the world, doesn't even matter if you're an entrepreneur, you should be always refining yourself. You know, I mean, I read a lot. I love to read. I mean, naturally, I like reading business books, but I also read science books. Like I read broadly, so you can understand different methods. But that's something that should be, you know, embedded in your at least monthly routine, especially just learning about your industry. Right, just constantly understanding what's going on, but also finding other ways on how to scale your business, right, in the future. So
I'm researching every day, watching vast amounts of shows, podcasts, to see different ways to make the guests feel comfortable. If you have a panel, how you keep the show flowing. If you have someone that's just stiff, how you help them get comfortable and still keep the flow of the show going. If you do got more than one person, because you don't want to lose them and they start fading to the corner. Okay, everybody have different approaches, and I try to suck up all of it because I never be perfect, but what I built is.
Right, and you're mastering it.
Make sure when they come here, they say that tagline, "What we treat you like family." Yeah, dude, you gonna get comfortable because that's for you. You ain't there 5 minutes. You like, dang, I feel like I've been here before. Okay, let's chill environment. That's the go.
Yeah, and it does make it more comfortable. But like I said, you're my first, so this is a good experience for me. At least my first on YouTube live.
Yeah, and you're gonna have many more to come because what you created is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
What are the duties of a senior program director?
So actually project manager. So our responsibility is to come in, have the discussion with the entrepreneur or the participant, as it will be by January 15th, understanding their business and understanding where they're currently at and what are their needs, and then kind of taking that back and turning it into a scope of work to say, I think this is where we should start if it's about improvement, or I think this is a kind of project we should work on. And a kind of project could be, hey, you know, you want to increase your client base. Let's run kind of like a lead gen activities in 3 months and to see how many clients we can increase, right, to get to service. And so that project manager is there. We run in what is a sprint methodology. So that means every 2 weeks, we are meeting with the entrepreneur. During the 2 weeks, we're meeting with the entrepreneur. We also do what we call huddle. So we kind of regroup with them just to let them know what still the tasks we're working on. And then we end our sprint with a full sprint review of all the deliverables within the 2 weeks that were completed. And so the entrepreneur is really, technically, we're project managers. They can literally list us as project managers on their websites if they want, just to show that they have more of a robust team. So we do allow that. Many of our entrepreneurs, we have their, company email. So we work alongside them as if we were hired through them, but obviously we're outsourced. And so our responsibility is to handle the task, the workflow within that project. And their responsibility is just kind of to monitor it with us, right? They're there because at the end of the day, when we leave them, they may change things. And so we may need to pivot in the project. That happens a lot with entrepreneurs because when they go, they're like, you know what? I don't even want to do this no more. I got a whole new product and this and that. And so we've had that many times. And so we have to sit back and we do a lot of brainstorming sessions. And those brainstorming sessions, we also question. We tend to play devil's advocate with the entrepreneurs because sometimes they'll see something and pivot very quickly and not understand why they did that. Right? Or what you were doing currently, if you just were consistent, would have had worked. And so if they do pivot, we have these brainstorming sessions before we revise the project scope. And then we go back in and then we do the task again. And so this alleviates them. So you got to imagine while you're sitting 9 to 5, doing your 9 to 5, we're working on your business, at least for that component of the business.
Yeah, so people like the new and shiny, like, whoa, you're doing this. Wait a minute. You can't just switch up, but it's shiny. I get it's shiny. But you didn't put time in for this. Wait a minute. See if it works or not.
Oh yeah. I mean, we tend to pivot a lot, especially, I mean, we're looking at the market itself, right? So things
Mhm.
really do just happen. But a lot of times we have so many ideas,
Mhm.
and it's like you want to do everything. And most of us also tend to like look at the future, like we're gonna be big time, we're gonna be serving 500 million people.
Yep.
So and we're like, okay, we got to bring it down to at least build this foundation and make sure this foundation can maintain that vision that you
Mhm.
have, and how do we work to get to that vision.
It's
So we're
possible.
also there, because once you get a team, even as you grow, you got to be able to work with your team. You got to be able to manage your team. So this also allows that entrepreneur to start to refine their own skills and team management, because they're technically our boss during the time when we're running the project, right? Like we're
Mhm.
doing the workload, and they actually see our results.
Now, I will say, when you get a chance to change on your LinkedIn director to manager,
Okay.
and so it's a little more accurate.
Thank you. Thanks for
No
seeing
problem.
that too.
No problem at all.
But I got my cheat sheet here. So let me write my notes down. Okay.
Shout out to Clement too. She was a guest around season 1 to 4, somewhere in there, and she like, man, people need to get on this LinkedIn thing. It's powder. Like, okay. And that's when I was audio, so I was out the trunk with it, just straight audio, no video. And I'm sitting there doing the show, and like, want to go to your page? I'm like, is she going to my page? Oh, I see. You need to update this. You need to update this. I'm like, yeah. Let me take some notes so I can make sure it's A1.
But it helps.
Yeah,
Some people don't say nothing, right? But it's best to say something, because at the end of the day, we're still business, right? And it's best
absolutely.
even in our community.
I always
I
got
will
to
be
update.
honest with you. I've had majority of our clients so far have been Black woman-owned businesses, and let me
Yeah.
say that it's like a sisterhood, because I get to
Mhm.
learn things so much from them. One, they're very direct, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
yes, sir. Like, it's direct, but a lot of the ones we work with always are there to also refine us as well.
Mhm.
And so that's how we were able to get to this point. And so I really do owe it a lot to the entrepreneurs that I've worked with, in order to even come to this point, to be able to continue to add value to other entrepreneurs.
I appreciate it, because I straight learn you got to update your LinkedIn. Whatever you got going on, make sure it's current.
Right?
Because people, I'm learning too to check the who viewed your profile, because they will go look like, who is this? What they want? Oh, hey, I like what you're doing. I like, oh, they checked your page. I
Yes.
was thinking about, like, see, she kept saying, make sure whatever you're doing is current, because people are going to look at it and see. And you want to look like, well, if you saying you, and I don't hear it, man, it's like 3 weeks ago. He doing this now. Like, he ain't about that life.
That
Okay.
is so true.
I take notes. Like, I appreciate it. I appreciate the love, baby. I pay it forward. Make sure we all
Yeah.
type these streets.
I have to owe it to, because so as project managers, we have what is called workflow assistants, because a lot of people go, well, how are you able to handle the workload for me? We have little fairies in the background too. So we call them workflow assistants, and they work directly with us to help on those projects. So technically a person's getting like kind of a 2-in-1, right?
Nice.
But the client facing part is the project manager. And anything confidentiality is only the project manager that works on it. It's just those
Mm-hmm.
smaller tasks that the workflow assistant is able to assist with.
Absolutely. That's cool. Now, Spidey sense tingling. You ever thought about doing a book?
I have, but
They ain't never wrong.
uh,
They ain't never wrong.
uh,
They ain't never wrong.
I think I'm still at this. I guess in my journey, I'm still at the spot where I want to see um, the entrepreneurs that I work with. I want to see them hit a certain level before I can write
Yeah,
that. If that makes sense, to write the book.
absolutely.
So I definitely have thought about it, but I want to be able to say in my book that, working on these different projects, I've seen people hit their $1 million and up. right? Like I want to be able to.
Gotta have
And
your
right
numbers.
now we're working with entrepreneurs that are really in that they launched growth stage, right? So they're still growing and we're working with them. But what makes us also unique is majority of our clients stay with us up to 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
So we've been active for 7. So imagine some of the people from the accelerator has been with us.
And that's around the time frame I learned the business school at Wayne State. 4 to 5 years for a company to be stable and profitable and start hitting its stride.
Yes.
And I've heard Ice Cube say on the show before, and I asked him about him doing the basketball league he created. And just pretty blunt, if you don't want to give at least 5 years of your life to something, don't do it. And look, they kind of like explain. It's going to take a while for any business to get a fan base, catch on, the marketing, sponsorship, whatever, and then start being profitable. It ain't going to be the microwave in 2 minutes. Everybody know who you is.
Right.
You might get lucky on TikTok or these social media spots here and there, but that ain't the norm in business. It takes 4 to 5 years.
It does take time. It does.
So if you don't want to do that, don't be an entrepreneur. I'm like, yeah. I've heard millionaires come to class say pretty much he just cut and dry with it, but pretty much the same thing. You got to see it through.
You have to be consistent. That is the main key. I mean, I learned that a lot, through my journey. I've had like 15 different business names when I was younger. I went through so many different ideas. I mean, I came probably to the point where even my friends and family was like, oh, here goes another idea. And that's just what happens with the entrepreneurial bug. Until you really find that sweet spot, right? That spot that really, a lot of people would say God kind of led you there. That's what I was kind of saying in the backstage part.
Yeah.
My position where I'm at is a supportive role, right? So I'm working with entrepreneurs who are building their own business and they're out there in the world, right? I mean, some of them are on stages talking to people. So we are working with a plethora of entrepreneurs at different levels. And there was a time where I actually even struggled just going, well, I'm a leader and why am I not on there? But what we naturally do is the back end. We're kind of behind the curtains, helping the entrepreneur get there. And I struggled with that a lot at first because I wasn't really focused fully on what I was there for until I finally realized that that's the value that I brought. And so once you really understand your value or your value proposition, as they speak in business, then you're just like, you're on the road, you're doing it. And ever since then, when I accepted that and understood, because supportive does not mean that you're not a leader, you're just leader within that role and you're doing it well. And so that's what we do.
Yeah, you got to understand your why or your purpose or whatever you want to call it that you're doing and be comfortable in it. Because stuff I do, like, dang, they ain't blown up yet. Everybody, this person, but everybody's journey ain't the same. So why you caring about who show doing that? You focus on what's yours and make sure that's the best thing you doing. Because when it's your turn, are you ready? And we get lost in looking. Don't worry about them. You focus on yours.
Stay straight. That's right.
When you do, your time will come. And if you going through all the steps, make sure you got your vision, got people like you to make sure everything is laid out and foundation strong. When you get your turn, okay, I got this $40 million deal with you. I'm see what you're doing. Woo. Let's go. You ready to throw that ball like Joe Montana, Jay Rice, somebody touchdown. Like, hey, outside's like, how do you do that so fast? Like, I've been grinding all this time. This ain't I just made up something that's got a touchdown. We've been doing this. You've been doing
people love to see your success, but don't see that journey, that struggle.
Getting out the mud is a process. It is a process. And they never see that part. They just see, you got a Cadillac, you got the man, you know what I'm saying? My hands in these mud, figuring this thing out.
Right.
Tweaking it. Like, you ain't see none of that, huh?
No,
That's how
no
we're hanging
breaking
out
the
with
nails or nothing. They ain't see none of
you.
that.
I'm doing one of these
The
mud right
days
here,
where
like
you
you said.
crying.
You ain't see none of that. That's why I wasn't hanging out with you, because I was in that mud getting this thing together. I can offer you a job. You know.
Yeah. I
I
mean, as you build, it is really important to, and we all heard this before, but it's important to surround yourself, with the right people. I mean,
Absolutely.
I was definitely blessed. My mother has always been and continues to be my strongest supporter. Obviously, she was not just only my first teacher, but also my kind of the first person who invested in me, right? Because when I was running around Springfield, Massachusetts, I was tearing up and being costly. And so my mother was paying for certain things, like if you don't stop, and all my mess ups, right? So all those trial and error, my mother was there. And then I also just have great friendships. All my friends have participated in my business somehow, right? Because when you need a team, you're like, I need you over here, I need you to do this. And so someone which I'd love to also mention, her name's Miyoshi Dixon. She has been also one of my strongest supporters. So
shout out to her.
Yes, definitely shout out to her.
Now, what has been a response from this great culture and network you built so far?
That's actually a good question. As a response of what I do, and the response of entrepreneurs experiencing it.
Entrepreneurs experiencing it, since they all start to partake. What have you seen take off from it?
So I will say, so the ones that first started with us, they were in the accelerator side. And so what we saw was that the projects that we worked on moved them forward. And move them forward into refinement of their functions of their business. So many, we've created operation manuals for them. We also do event management. So we've worked on events with them. We've met some of our clients in person. So that was a blessing. Nice. So it also depends what project it is. But I will say that the response is that they now have a dependable individual who's literally focused on their vision. Because many of us, we have our friends and our family, just as I, mentioned, but they're supporting you, right? They may not understand your business, right? They're just like, just tell me what you need me to do. I'll show up and do it. And though we need the support of individuals, you also want that team that can really come in and play the role that you need them to play, and have the knowledge to be able to move you forward. So I think that is also what we've noticed was extremely helpful. And it also gave the entrepreneur, we've watched the entrepreneurs grow. We had to refine some of what we do, because all of a sudden it was like we were employees of the organization. We're like, we're not an employee, but they started refining themselves as CEOs, right? Where they're like, let me just assign this to you. It's like, no, let's focus on the project. Come back. But it is really great to watch them, to grow into their role. And so I think that was a great response. And the fact is that they stay with us for so many years. I think, I know it's a weird way of saying that we kind of made it, is when they actually really don't need us, right? That they are hiring on employees to their organization, where they can afford that kind of level in their financial.
That's awesome. Well, we reached the promote you moment. The floor is yours.
Promote me. Well, January 15th, we're going to launch what is called Supreme Ops program. In that program, there's 3 different durations. You can sign up for the program for 3 months, 6 months, or 8 months. We really like to suggest those who are new participants that they stick with us only for the first 3 months first before they try to go for the 6 and 8. When January 15th happens, on our website for Supreme Ops will be live, and you will be able to go on there to actually apply to participate in the program. And how you know that it's for you. Let's say you are an entrepreneur, a small business owner. professional 9 to 5 who has side businesses, and you want to build your business, right? You want to grow it. But you need someone there to help you. You don't have that much time. You're wearing 10,000 different hats. If you are staying up really late and going, oh my gosh, I wish I had some help, this program would be for you. So that was my little plug.
Okay. Sounds good. What has been your biggest challenge on your journey?
It's a lot of challenges. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur as well, right? So as my startup, I think the challenge was constantly refining the value. I think also pricing models, things like that has always been, it was a challenge for me. Balancing. So when I started, I needed me. So I needed a double. I wish I had a project manager. When we got the workflow assistance, but we had to get to that level, right, to be able to even afford those individuals. So I would say that was the challenge of being on your own, trying to support others who need the same assistance. And I think also just the times where you think this is not the right way, because this is not a traditional approach, right? We're not offering courses. We're not offering a workshop. We're saying we're going to work with you one-on-one and we're going to do the task. So I think it's also just trusting this new method. For us, at least, it's a new method. And so I think that was hard. And also just finding, a supportive network. Sometimes that's pretty hard to find individuals to help.
Absolutely.
So I would say that was probably my biggest challenge. Yeah.
So you had to create you.
Yes.
So that you will be out here. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
In your words, what has been your impact in the community?
Impact on our community as a whole, or our community, the Office of Black World Culture community?
Both.
So I can only kind of answer from how I feel we've impacted the Black community in general. I'm going to say, because we work with so many women entrepreneurs, I feel like we're kind of contributing to helping the family grow, alleviating some of that workload so they could have more personal time, that self-help. So I feel like that's the impact, but also the fact is approaching it in an operational way, looking at business differently and bringing that to the community so that we can create or maintain businesses in our community and see that in the future. So we're kind of contributing to the future growth of our business. And then I guess that's probably the same impact that Black World Culture has been making itself and alleviating that stress that a lot of us have.
It's amazing. I keep hearing that not too many men are starting.
Yeah, you want me to tell you what?
Expound on that a little bit for us.
Well, I will say this. We invite men in, but we notice that men don't like to take direction as well. Like, they're more like, yeah, just do this. So sometimes we come across a lot of men don't last long in the program because they want to, they don't really want to hear the advice. It's more that they just know. So we tend to come across that way. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have men in our program. We have actually great gentlemen. Actually, on my LinkedIn, I even highlighted Babatunde. He's working on True Giving. It's a nonprofit organization, and I've known him for a while as well. So we do have men, and even the gentleman I talked about in Oregon, that was a gentleman with the sheet music. I mean, the sheet milk. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could probably think we know it all.
It's a little harder, but we're here to still work with them.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. Whoever got the game that I needed, talk to me like I'm two. Make sure I understand it. Because I need that. I ain't too proud to sit up here when I know the long-term approach is chestnut checkers. I'm going to figure out what I didn't know, add that to the puzzle, and that's going to help me down the road where I need to be.
Yes.
Brad ain't gonna do nothing for me, but had me looking foolish. Like, well, God, why aren't you helping me? Like, bro, remember that black wealth? That was my help.
Done sent you for people.
Like, you boy, let me talk to you like a boy. I sent you help and you didn't listen. Oh, yeah. Take the bass out your voice. Like, oh, my bad. Sometimes, God, he might bring you home a friend. Let me talk to you for a minute. The way you say you want some help, wasn't that? Well, yeah, but hey, nah, man. You say you want this, right? That's what you claim. And then the help come here, you think you know better than the help. So you know MC squared in, and you ain't never done that. you that sweet. So why you need help then? And we gotta get off that.
Yeah, I mean, there's women that we've come across that are just the same as well. We just found that a lot more women tend to also gravitate to asking for help. So that's a difference too, because remember, the clients find us as we find them as well. So we tend to see that.
All right. Hey, at Wayne State, some classes I've had, I would see it with some guys, some females, but definitely, we be supposed to be providers and all that good stuff. So it's a chip to your ego that you don't know, but it's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
A great leader knows I don't know and I need help.
Yes, that is true.
I need help, please.
I pick me.
So when you get it and what you need to be done is sweet, they gonna remember it's sweet. I don't remember how you got there. Did you get it done? Like some people I know, oh my God, I ain't graduated college yet. Like it don't matter your graduation date. Can you check off the box from that resume or whatever? College degree, yes or no? I don't care if it took you 30 years. Do you have it? Yes or no? So don't get caught up in, but them. So, what about you?
That's right.
You check out the box. They're not going to ask, well, how many years? I don't see no questions. Just, you got your bachelor? Yep, check. Okay. Keep moving.
That's right.
Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. You know, get out of your head and all the, well, everybody looking at me. Who's everybody? Do they got Warren Buffett money? They got money like that, okay, I'm with you. But they ain't got $80 billion in the account. Why are you listening to them?
Right. I mean, it is definitely focus on you, but you also have to remember that you don't actually achieve something by yourself. Like that bus driver drove you to wherever you need to go. You took that Uber. You still need an individual.
Your big mama prayed before you was born.
I know, right?
Like, you have a decent life. Someone been looking out for you before you even got here.
Right.
You're never gonna pull yourself up by your bootstrap and do it by yourself. That's fake news.
Mm-hmm.
You need your Avengers in some shape or form to help you, and pay it for it. Don't be a douchebag. It's all mine. I figured it all out on my own. Like, okay. And when you lose it all, you go back like Monopoly. You go back to square one. Well, I'm back here because you got to the front of the room and you got on the Daffy Duck. It's mine, all mine. Look at me. Like, okay, you don't want to help nobody. Get out of the way. But you stay humble. You keep moving forward.
That's right.
That dude keep or she just keep. Because you can lose in the end, you can't take it with you.
Right.
You might as well do what you're supposed to do with it. Keep moving. Now for that Yoda gang. Hope I made you comfortable, relaxed, chill environment.
Let me do my meditation. Okay, go ahead.
Nice. What advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
I'm going to use obviously I can only use what I have. I would say try a lot of things. And don't be scared to do that. And what I mean by that is find yourself in different environments that will spark your creativity, right? Your ideas, so you can see different things from different perspectives. Being able to be in different environments also allows you to talk to different people who are having different experiences. So travel. I mean, I've met many people who stay in one place, and I don't understand that. And it could be fear, right? And then they always have the excuse of, I don't have enough money to do this, but you got enough money to do a lot of other things, but we're not talking about that. So I would say that traveling has helped me. Being in different environments, being in different industries. So, I'm not a science major, but I definitely will attend a science conference. All right,
Okay.
just to be there. I may not understand what they're talking about, but that's the beauty of it also, because then I get to learn. So I would say that, but also purpose is also to find a silent moment. The world feeds us a lot of things. And so I do believe in having that meditative moment. Where, even once a month, and this is, I mean, even for the hardest gangster on earth should have this moment, okay? Is just sit down and in silence, no phone, no TV, not even a book, and just have that moment between whatever God, right, that you pray to. And I do think that we just have to have those moments. So I think those two things that I would say to help find. I'm going to say help find your purpose, because I don't want to say you'll find your purpose right then and there, but it'll start to direct you when you're traveling. You'll start to notice how life just kind of moves you in directions, and you'll start to see patterns. I went from music industry to nonprofit to just working straight in entrepreneurship, but in the music industry itself, a lot of my skills I use today. And I started young. So finding purpose also probably is the consistency. And I will say this, even though it probably doesn't go with purpose, I'm always going to say this, and I always say this to everyone, is be your biggest fan. You have to be your biggest fan. Okay. Like, don't let nobody tell you ugly, because you're not, right? Like, I don't care what someone says to you. You have to be your biggest fan. Right. I mean, that's the only, you're not going to get anywhere, because there's going to be days where you or someone is going to, that you even look up to, may shoot something down that you have this idea, but you got to strongly believe in yourself. And people read that, right? They can read that confidence within you. So
your words have power. They can uplift or destroy. So
yes.
Why would you turn that fictional gun to yourself saying, I'm ugly, I never amount to nothing, I'm stupid? You just tearing yourself down all day long. Why would you do that to yourself? Or why would you let someone else do that to you? Shut up, leave me alone. I can do anything through God, Christ who strengthens me, or wherever God I got. If I try. Say that. And hopefully you might start getting friends that are like, you want to be an astronaut? You can do it. Let's start looking up what you need to do. And you got people that say, "Oh man, you can't come from the hood and do that." Delete them. You're fired. Get out of my life.
Right.
Now, I mean, you're no good. They're gonna say that to you. If they your people, hey, do it. See how far you can go with it.
Yeah, and it's
them the real peoples.
It's okay. And this is why you have to be your biggest fan, because as you go through life, you're going to pivot. I'm not talking about just being in business. I'm saying personally, you are going to pivot. So you may want to be an astronaut, but then all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I think teaching is the best. Right? You're going to pivot.
Teach astronauts.
Yeah, right.
You might be better at teaching them how to do that thing.
But you do have to be consistent on something, though, in order to figure out if it was right. Right? So don't just show up and because you tripped and fell for the first time. At least about 10 more before you be like, oh, this is not for me. Like you can feel that.
Yeah.
But a lot of us, we tend to, give up really quickly, and that's not healthy at all either, though.
That's true. If you start something, you need to finish it. That's what I was taught. So at least okay, that didn't work. Move on to the next thing. Mm-hmm. So you want to get a habit of always starting and never finishing. That becomes a character trait. You don't even realize you're developing.
Yes.
You'll never finish nothing. And that's not even good for either, because you got all these halfway talents, but nothing solidified because you ain't checked off the box that you did all the steps for one. So, that don't work.
Right.
Now, I do have, since you're the last guest for 23, Some positive for 24 for the folks out here, 31 countries that's listening.
Something positive.
Mm-hmm.
Can it be like a simple like?
Yeah, it ain't gotta be no long thesis statement for doctorate, nothing like that. Whatever you want to say.
I'm going to use a word, and I'm just going to say start. I think 2024, if you talking about it, you talked about it throughout 2023, everything that you wanted to do, this is the year to start. It is that first step that makes a difference in all of us, right? And then I'm also going to add to it, get dirty. Don't be afraid to get dirty, right? Let's have some fun in this.
You ain't lying. You're not lying about that. You learn a lot in that mud. Well, no, I know if anybody watching this, like, man, that dude, he been doing that. It got it out the mud where you think this is this Dom. It took a while to hold Dom Perignon. It didn't come out like this.
Right?
Don't believe that. I never lie to you. It took a while. Trial and error. Well, I appreciate that word for 24. Start and get dirty. Get it out the mud. And awesome knowledge you passed on whoever watching. I appreciate 31 country listeners, our age demographics. Just to help you figure out what you're trying to do with yourself to start on it. Over by 25, you make a strides in it.
Yes.
I want to humbly thank founder, CEO, senior program manager of the Office of Black Wealth Culture, Stephannie Kirby, and future author, sharing her journey. And it's been her first time. I hope we rolled out the red carpet, the filet mignon, all that good stuff going to the new year. That we live by Thailand, where we treat you like family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And also even thank you to your listeners and anyone that even watches this in 2024. I'm saying hello, and hopefully you'll find me even during that year.
Hey, it's going to be a replay episode. If they ain't feeling it, like, that's a good one. Damn. We good to go. Let's go watch cartoons or something. Me time in. You know, I hope you enjoy your rest of your year. Have an amazing start to 24. You're part of Middle Ground family. If you ever want to come back or get on shows, just let me know. And I hope everybody have a safe holiday weekend, New Year.
Happy New Year.
Don't eat too much, drink too much, balance out. Maybe do a few push-ups before you go back to work so you ain't say, oh my God, I gotta go back here. We know it's coming. You gotta go back to work. But be thankful you have somewhere to go. Some people don't. And we'll see y'all next year. Have a good one, everybody.